What's up guys, Tech Savvy Buyer here. So the PS5 is shaping up to be one heck of a beast, and we've been getting snippets of details every now and then, but finally we've got our hands on some more tangible information regarding the PlayStation 5, and that is the actual official name of it. Coming soon in holiday 2020, let's talk about all the details of what we know about the PS5 today, and if you should get your hopes up for the system or not, coming up. So, PlayStation 5 is the official name of Sony's next console, and this was just confirmed today by Jim Ryan, the CEO of Sony Interactive Studios, and this was actually confirmed by Peter Rubin, who's actually one of the writers over at Wired. Now, Wired, if you guys have been following, has had some opportunities to get some exclusive interviews with Sony, all in particular to details revolving the PS5. So, a couple of things to get you guys up to speed, what we've previously knew and what's been confirmed today. We'll talk about that in steps. So what was previously confirmed to us was that they are working on a system that's going to be using a Navi-based GPU system made by AMD. They're going to be using a Ryzen-based CPU, so it's obviously going to be an APU that has a combination of them. Not so familiar or clear as to what the clock speeds are going to look like or how many exact cores are going to be in there, but we can expect it to be pretty decent and much better than this generation's iteration of the Jaguar-based CPUs. In addition to that, we also knew that we're going to get a solid-state drive. There was a demo between a PS4 Pro running Spider-Man on a solid state that's current, or the actual, 5400 RPM hard drive that's currently in the system, and the new solid state on a dev kit of the PS5, which showed instantaneous loading, which was fantastic as well. In addition to that, we also got some leaks on what the PS5 dev kit is actually going to look like, and a lot of people have gone to confirm and say that is actually going to be the dev kit that people are using, and that's actually real. So it's not confirmed that that's the final product. You're probably not going to be seeing that V-shaped PS5 anytime soon, or as a final product, but we don't know if that's exactly going to be the situation or not. A couple other things that we were made aware of, that there's going to be real-time ray tracing involved, which is a very GPU intensive feature that only high-end graphic cards for your PC can actually do today. It's not something that is very easy to accomplish. In fact, none of AMD's cards or GPU lineup as of today can even do ray tracing, so it's a big feature to see that consoles are going to be pushing that. In addition to that, we also found out that the PS5 is going to have backwards compatibility finally. They understood their mistakes from the generation today, and they realized that if they want to stay in the battle with Microsoft and gain that mass base, we're going to start seeing some backwards compatibility. PSVR 2.0, while it hasn't been confirmed specifically, we've also heard that there is going to be backwards compatibility for the PSVR, so you can continue to use that with your new system. That to me just means that they're going to possibly release a PSVR 2.0, as Microsoft just teased a VR headset of their own coming soon to battle the PSVR. So this is going to be a pretty interesting generation, and the technology leap, guys, is probably by far the biggest one we're going to see in generations of consoles since like way back. I can't even think of another example of when we had a huge shift in technology between one generation over to the other, especially considering that we had some mid-cycle upgrades. But anyways, the meat of today's video, guys, is what was revealed today by CEO Jim Ryan and another exclusive interview with Peter Rubin over at Wired. So they found out a couple cool things, and this is really interesting, got me really excited, and I think you guys should be as well when you find out how powerful and how amazing the new PS5 is going to be. So one, for starters, it's going to be released in holiday of 2020. So that means more than likely we're going to see it in around November timeframe, right around time for Christmas, so that people can go and buy that for their friends or kids or whoever, as they typically tend to do. So you're banking on probably a November, first week in November release date is what I am anticipating. And we can talk about if you should buy the current lineup of consoles knowing that that's going to be released next year. So finally there's a firm date and a firm name. So it's actually going to be called PlayStation 5, as I mentioned 2 times already in this video. In addition, so they shed some more light on ray tracing. And ray tracing, what was being speculated was that people thought the system is not going to be powerful enough to run it hardware based, but it's going to be software based, which didn't really make a whole lot of sense. They confirmed today that it's going to be hardware based, so that should give you guys a glimpse of how much power is being custom developed and pushed out of the PlayStation 5, and I think it's going to give the Xbox Anaconda a real run for the money, although we don't know what is coming out on the Xbox Anaconda yet, except similar kind of specs that was shared on their E3 recently. So I think it's going to be a tough battle. It's going to be fantastic. Aside from that, they shed some more light on the actual new DualShock. Now, they didn't call it DualShock 5. They don't really have a name for the new controller for the next gen, but here's a couple interesting interesting thing that's really, really cool. So similar to the way the Nintendo Switch has HD rumble in their vibration of their joysticks and their controllers, the PS5 controller is going to have something similar like that. But more so interesting than that is what they have called the adaptive triggers. So adaptive triggers, what exactly is that? Basically, it's a way that the triggers adjust the tension on it in the middle of gameplay. So imagine if you're playing Tomb Raider and you're pulling the bow. As you pull the bow and the bow gets tighter, the actual resistance of the trigger going down into the controller gets tighter as well. So it gives you that immersion that you're in the game and you're actually doing these type of things. In Peter Rubin's testing, he said that it was actually a really, really amazing feature and that it made one heck of a difference when you're actually playing a game. It gave you a lot more immersive feeling, and the rumble joined in with that made the gaming sensation completely different. And they actually gave him a chance to test out on several games by the developer, or actually maybe one game or so, by the developer of the ones who made the Astrobots for the PSVR. So definitely cool feature, I'd have to say. Like, I think that's going to be exciting, and because they're introducing that in there and they have a new set of motors inside, or rumble packs, the controller is going to be a little bit heavier, but they also confirmed that it's still going to be less in weight compared to an Xbox One controller that has batteries in it. So I'm curious to see how that holds up in battery life, because we know that the PS4's DualShock 4 controller did not really have good battery life compared to a DualShock 3. DualShock 3 would last for a week on end, and if you're into heavy gaming sessions, the DualShock 4 just doesn't cut it. You always have to recharge it. Also on the controller is USB-C type charging. So they're moving into the newer type. We're not going to be seeing micro USB anymore, although not a huge feature, but still something worth sharing with you guys. And also there's a spot in the controller that's not 100% confirmed, but there's speculation on this that there's going to be voice assistant capabilities. So you can actually talk to the PS5 through your controller, or possibly other people. I'm not sure exactly how they're going to integrate it, but I think it's more or less going to be some way to integrate a smart home feature into your system so that you can pair it maybe with Alexas and Googles and whatnot to turn your system on and do all that kind of jazz. Moving on to the next part is on the solid state drive. So the solid state drive is confirmed 100%, and it's not going to be like your typical solid state drive. So they shared a lot of insight and really detailed on how the system is going to pull data from games. So really what that means is, if you install a game, you now will have the option to either just install the multiplayer portion. So suppose you're a Call of Duty fan like I am. Most of us Call of Duty people don't even bother playing the campaign, and count me out if I'm wrong on this, but most of us just go straight to the multiplayer if you want to start leveling up quickly, and we kind of ditch the campaign. You may come to it later at another point, but point is, you're going to start off with the multiplayer first in some cases. I may just be speaking for a few people, but you get the point. So you'll have an option to install just the multiplayer part, start the game. If you get bored of that, you can delete that, install just a campaign, and play it. So you actually have selective install capabilities with the game, which is really like unique. You don't really see that feature. Not even in PCs can you get that. In some cases you can. Actually, correct me if I'm wrong. PCs, you can get that feature on certain games. You can install certain packs. So like Call of Duty, another example, you can play just a campaign, or you can install the multiplayer totally separate. So it's nice to see that they're actually doing that on consoles as well. The other thing that's making it more instantaneous, and that's what they're really focusing on, and making the gameplay instantaneous. So they didn't really tell you exactly what the user interface was going to look like, but they shed some more light on that and saying that if you're in the menu of the PS5, you'll be able to see different games running and different parts of those games running. So you don't have to boot into a game, decide, hey, this looks like something fun that I want to play, or it doesn't look like fun, come back out and hop into another game. It's all going to be running live on your user interface, and you can actually, from your main home screen, just jump into a game live like that. So suppose there's a multiplayer game that's going on for Fortnite or something, instead of waiting to join it for another way or testing to see if you're going to like that game, from your home screen, you can jump straight into it, which is insane of a concept. Now, I don't really know how this is going to pan out. I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions just like I do about matchmaking, lobbies, and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know exactly how it's going to pan out, but I think that the fact that they're going in that direction speaks mounds as to what the PS5's real capability is going to be. So the system overall is shaping out to be a heck of a beast of a system, guys. And I know it's a play on words, but I don't really think that I've ever seen another console do all that. And one more thing they finally confirmed is that there's going to be a 4K Blu-ray player inside the system. So what they ditched this generation and got beat up over and over again by Microsoft on was the lack of including a 4K Blu-ray player, even though they basically advanced and invented this technology. So having a 4K Blu-ray player is basic, essential capabilities that the system is going to have, although they are promoting a more digital lifestyle and getting people to go into just getting the games digitally and not necessarily having the games. My assumption is that they want to continue to include the drive not only for the 4K Ultra HD playback, but if you have PS4 games laying around, you can still continue to put them in the new PS5 and play them that way. So all in all, it's shaping to be an exceptional system to get excited for, guys. If there's ever been a gaming console generation that you guys should be excited for, I would hands down say this is the one. If you haven't taken a leap at purchasing a PS4 Pro yet, or you just have a PS4, or maybe you're still on a PS3, hold out until you can get to the PS5 next year. Or if you find a super good deal on a PS4 system, then maybe go for it just for the sake of having it. But at the most, I would basically recommend you guys to hold off until the PS5 comes out. Now, they didn't confirm pricing, but given what's going on with our economy and what's going on with China, and more than likely the production being in China, you can expect the price tag to be at least at the $500 mark. Now, Sony hasn't confirmed if there's going to be 2 or 3 different types of consoles. They've only said that there's going to be one PlayStation 5. They haven't given us any indication that there'll be, one that doesn't have a disc drive or something like the Xbox One All Digital Edition or something like that. But it's still nice to see that they're doing something that's really pushing technology and really giving even PC gamers a run for their money. I wouldn't say it really makes all that much sense now to go and spend $1,300 on an RTX 2080 Ti just to get ray tracing and be able to play 4K. That's another big feature that's been confirmed, that the PS5 will be able to play games in 4K at 60 frames per second locked. So take it for what you will, guys. Maybe take it with a grain of salt, because frame rates and resolutions can always be, something that's up for debate, but we've seen that they are capable of doing it, albeit they do it a lot with the checkerboarding technique. But now, with several years going by since the PS4 Pro has been released, and now the PS5 coming in, and with AMD just advancing technology and bringing them down to that 7nm architecture, there's just so much capability and possibility for this to actually come true. So there's no reason for us to doubt that Sony's actually capable of doing this stuff and bringing this technology to us as soon as next year, literally just about a year and 1 month away. If the controller they actually had ready during the time of the PS4 Pro, but they didn't want to launch it because they didn't want to segregate the user install base, is what they stated. So some people would have that feature, some people wouldn't. They didn't want to have that. They decided just to push out and delay it so that it launches with the PS5. And overall, it's adding to be another benefit or another added feature in its sheath that it can share and boast about when it comes to going head to head with its competition, such as Microsoft. So guys, I am really excited. I'll let you guys let me know in the comment section below what you think about the system, if this is going to be worth waiting for or not, and if you're genuinely excited as I am for the PS5. I've always been a big Sony fan and a Microsoft fan, just a gaming fan in general. I love consoles, I love PCs, all in general. Anything gaming has been my forte, as you guys know if you've been followers of this channel. So it's really exciting to see that they're coming out with a system that's going to pack such a heavy punch for good value, and is really going to be a massive generational leap compared to the PS4 and even the PS4 Pro. Let me know what you guys think. I'm excited. Are you excited? I want to know if you guys are. What features are you most interested in waiting for? And if not, if you guys are thinking towards the Xbox side of stuff, tell me what you are expecting from both systems, that hopefully if you get it, it's pretty much like this is the system that you're going to go for if the system has this feature. But as always, thank you very much for staying to the end of this video. I appreciate it, and you guys take care and have a good one.